Hi there, and welcome to Saving Grace. I am joined this evening by Eilish, who plays
Hi.
Six. I am Declan, your dungeon master, and you'll notice that we are short a few of the others. Well, this is a very special episode, and if
VIPs
you
only.
VIPs only, yeah, VIPs only. Um, I was like very important victims, but victims begins with a V. The P is silent at the start. Victims.
Very
uh,
important for victims.
Victims. You are most welcome along this evening, and if you've been watching Saving Grace the last couple of sessions, you'll know that Six had been pulled from the group by Reagan Moret, the chief of operations for the mining camp. This verse is all about what Six gets up to while the others are possibly
Almost die.
dead. Question mark? Yeah. Um, you are most welcome along to D8 Dungeon. We are a group of Irish tabletop role playing game enthusiasts who just love telling stories. Saving Grace is a splinter from our podcast, Romancing the Dungeon, where four heroes are on a quest to find true love, whatever that might mean. Um, as a warning, and we say this every episode, Saving Grace is a gothic horror inspired adventure. So there are particularly gory scenes and descriptions that some viewers may find upsetting. So do bear that in mind. Uh, I've said this every time, but apparently the only disgusting thing I've described so far is the food that the camp cook. It seems to be
It's
the thing
true.
that gets everybody retching. So, before we uh, before we get into the our adventure and we find out just what Six has been up to, what she's been doing all this time, quick mention for our the Rook and the Raven. If you'd like to get your hands, and if you need to get your hands on some wonderful tabletop role playing accessories, if you are a DM or a player and you've got loads of characters and you want to keep track of their progress, you want to be able to match your bits and pieces on the side, then you need to check out the Rook and the Raven. They make some amazing tabletop role playing accessories and journals that you can customize to your heart's content. And if you use the code D8 Dungeon at the checkout, you will get a 15% discount, and a portion of that sale goes back to us here at D8 Dungeon to help us create more content and tell more stories and do loads of other things as well.
Describe more gross food.
Yes, grossly and accurately and moldily. Um, as a very quick recap, and just to bring us back to the events that led up to Grace, Eludia, and Sueris falling to their death in a cavern, the group had been requested to attend a meeting with Reagan Moret, the new chief of operations at the Blood and Oil Mining Company, um, and their camp here at the Giant's Fingers mountain range. We've the gang, Grace, Sueris, and Eludia were sent to one find some herbs to help some of the men who'd come into contact with the purple fungus, the shrooms found in the caves that have led to the death of a camp member. And there's now a possible outbreak. So these herbs and flowers are to help alleviate the symptoms, while Deacon, the new healer at the camp, seeks out a cure. Uh, while they were sent to do that, Reagan did request that Six stay behind, as there was something she wished to discuss with the young woman. And that is where we're going to start, in the living quarters and office of Reagan Moret. And Six, as you see Grace, Sueris, and Eludia leave, Eludia gives you sort of a delicate little wave with her fingers and kind of a that vicious smile uh, that lingers in her eyes more than it does the curl of her lip. Um, Reagan just kind of clears her throat as the door closes, and it is you, Deacon, and her. You are sat at you are in the front end of the quarters that make up both her living space and her office space as the chief of operations. You can see it's very neat and tidy. It has never looked like this under Arbuckle. Uh, it has never ever looked like this, and she's been here barely 48 hours, and there are piles of papers everywhere, but again, they're fairly well neatly stacked and taken care of. Everything seems to be kind of in their place. Six, and you see that Reagan kind of moves to a bookcase just at the back, and the case is against kind of a partition wall, and it also seems to help kind of. It's kind of wedged in here, like it's touching the ceiling, and it's lined with books, fairly heavy, sturdy spine books, and she kind of shifts one out, and she kind of puts it on the table, and she's kind of flicking through it, and there's just a very heavy silence in the room. Deacon isn't saying anything. Um, he's sat by the door looking out the window out into the camp, and Reagan is just sort of filing through the book. You can hear activity coming from outside. You can hear a cackle coming from Eludia. It fades as she heads down the camp path with Grace and Sueris, but nobody is saying a word in here.
She just kind of sucks her teeth and is like, "You're the one that asked me to stay, so."
I was doing some research, Six, on the employees here at the camp, and well, a couple of things in your file caught my attention.
Like what?
Oh, I mean, I realize that you and Miss Cinderelle come as a package deal, but you've put her name down as your next of kin to be contacted in the event of an emergency or, God's forbid it, your death.
And?
I don't see the family resemblance.
I don't see how that's any of your business.
Oh, Six, I'm your boss.
Okay.
So, consider this. Consider this. Let's not say interview, but I'm starting to wonder, and we really need to start kind of separating the wheat from the chaff around here, and I really need to make some cuts.
I see. So who do you want me to off?
No, we're not so far gone that I require that just yet, Six. Though, should there be a need for the murder of staff, I might look to Eludia first.
Rude. Why would you pick her first?
She. So I'll ask you again, Six. Your connection to Eludia. Please elaborate.
She's the closest thing I have to family.
You hear Deacon clear his throat.
Something to say?
he shifts in the chair that he's sitting on, um, and he continues to look out the window. You, again, we come back to this notion of family. How did the two of you meet?
I don't remember.
You don't remember, yet you would put your life in her hands.
Well, she's saved mine on more than one occasion.
Oh, and I don't mean to press Six, but are you her aide?
No? What? What do you mean?
Oh,
She's
well, it's just. And I really shouldn't be talking about. Well, I mean, she's practically family to you. Eludia left her next of kin blank.
Six's heart just sinks.
I'm sure it was a mistake. The forms are quite hefty. Um, I'm simply trying to just get to know you a little bit more, Six. What is it that you are doing at the mine? How did you come to be here?
I needed the money. Why does anyone work in this shithole?
Indeed. You are blunt with the truth, it seems.
I don't see the point in mincing words, as they say.
Hmm. So the mine is purely a cash cow for you then.
Sure.
And might I be so bold as to ask whose idea that was? Did you come up with it, or
I mean, Eludia saw the sign in town. I just figured it was
followed along?
easy. No, no. If I didn't want to come, I wouldn't have come.
Oh, and she would have accepted that.
I don't see why she wouldn't.
One last question for you, Six. What do you want out of life?
She just kind of glances over at Deacon and then
You can
kind of,
pay Deacon no mind. He's whatever you say here will be held in the strictest of confidence. I trust Deacon in the same way that I guess Eludia must trust you. He is my right hand. He is my aide.
I'm not her aide.
Of course, your family, of course.
I don't. What do you want?
I'm simply trying to get to know you, Six.
And not the rest of them? Why me?
Because you interest me, Six.
Here we go. Why?
Oh, because. And let me be blunt. I know the truth.
Six just chuckles and looks at Deacon again and then is like, I don't know what you mean. The truth about what?
I know that some people get very good at lying to themselves, Six. Some people can convince themselves of small things. They can convince themselves that, they haven't aged as much, or they do need another cigarette, or that it was okay to take those coins, that they'll put those back eventually. People are very good at lying to themselves. And then there are other people, Six. People like you, for example.
What am I lying to myself about?
About who you are. Sorry,
She just
I misspoke. What you are.
she lunges at her.
Give me an unarmed strike.
Oh no. I'm not very good at that at all. 12.
As you literally leap across the desk at her, she does take like 2 steps back. You see her eyes light up, and she has a grin on her face. But before you even have a chance to throw your body over the desk, Deacon is out of the chair in between you and her, and he has a short, sharp blade pointed at you. His eyes stare down at you, and you're inches from him. There's a very strong smell of smoke coming from him. Like chimney smoke. We're not talking, cigarettes or pipe smoke. We're talking chimney smoke.
She just kind of reaches over his shoulder to point at Reagan. Do not call me a what. I am a person.
Then show me. Show me who you are, Six.
How am I supposed to do that?
We can continue to play this game, Six. We can continue the lies if that's what you're comfortable with. I don't mean to upset you. Um, Clearly, I have. I just wonder. I just wonder about Eludia.
What about her? She knows who I am.
Does she?
Yes, she does.
All of who you are? All of who you were meant to be?
You don't know what you're talking about.
I have been fortunate enough in my life, Six, to come from a place of privilege. I attended the best of schools. I had everything I ever wanted. I never went a day without food or water or nourishment. My parents, both academics, yet quite concerned with my upbringing, are quite affectionate towards me. I wanted for nothing. Being in those circles, well, my mother and father were quite friendly with the Cinderels. And, sorry, yeah, no.
So, why didn't Eludia recognize you then?
My mother and father were, but a ball is no place for a child. So,
Depends on the child.
well, my parents liked to keep me away from those things. They felt my time was better served studying. And when I came of age, they sent me to Mistian to harness my abilities. So, fraternizing at galas and soirees was never really on the cards for me. But
That explains a lot.
my mother told me an interesting story a few years back. Eludia's father was quite inebriated at one of the events, and, well, the man took a bit of a tumble, and my parents, being the diligent, concerned people they were, tended to him. You see, he had become a bit of a drunk in his later years, somewhat burdened by some things. And you know what they say about a drunk with secrets, Six. Liquor tends to loosen lips.
Okay. What's that got to do with me?
They told my parents an interesting little tidbit. It seems Mr. Cinderell had several years previous come to find out that his daughter was the target for some fae. They had grand designs to replace his youngest with one of their own. And she gestures at Deacon to move away.
So, what? Elodie is not who she says she is? You're here to warn me off?
Eludia is exactly who she says she is. Though I could do without the chest beating. I'm talking
Just
about you, Six. And you can sit there and you can lie to yourself and tell me you don't remember or it's not true. But you and I both know you were the changeling they sent to take Eludia Cinderella's place when she was but a babe in her crib.
look, I've heard some wild theories in my life, but you're actually insane.
I'm not here to out you, Six. I'm not here to turn you in. I'm not here to threaten you.
Okay. So
I'm
what are you here
here
for then?
to help you.
Bullshit. You sit there with your fucking tales of old and fairy stories and you're telling me you're here to help me? How the fuck are you going to help me?
I'm going to help you achieve everything that was taken from you. I'm not
Her eyes
going
widen a little bit.
to promise to be the mother and father that you desperately longed for as a little one. I'm not going to tell you that you're pretty and you're brilliant and you're smart. I'm not going to hold your hand and frolic through the woods. But I am going to offer you power and a chance to be who you were always meant to be.
I'm already powerful. What kind of power?
A flower that blooms in the shade of an oak tree cannot last. Six.
So what? You're going to change me from a flower to an oak tree?
Fuck flowers. And fuck the tree. Six. I'm going to allow you to be the thing that you are supposed to be. I'm going to allow you to take the life from the flower, take the life from the tree, climb it, strangle it, and live your own.
She starts to smile.
You have potential, Six. There's only
It's
one
been a
thing
while.
stopping you.
And that is Eludia.
Your attachment to Eludia. I have work for you, Six. A job that you are suited for. One that I don't think the others. Well, they have other things to be done. Uh, Deacon, um, in his investigations, has ascertained that the purple fungi, the spores that Alder encountered, it might be possible to not just ease the symptoms that those afflicted by it, um, but to actually be able to find a cure to help those men that are currently wheezing their last breaths, but also ensure that we can go a little further in the mine. Because if we can treat the illness, if we can stop the fungus, then the operations, particularly in the chokehold, can continue. And I am, by my employer, contracted, obliged to continue the work here.
Okay. So what, you need me to go get more of it?
She looks at Deacon. It's best, Six, if you go and make preparations. Deacon will escort you, but he also needs some time to prepare. So, I suggest you take a few moments to gather any supplies that you might need as you venture into the mines. I also suggest you take a moment, Six, to reflect on what we've discussed.
I'll think about what you said.
Don't think too long. Flowers die in the shade.
She's gonna roll her eyes and uh, push off the desk and walk out. Leave the door open for Deacon.
You hear the door shut, Six, as you step out, and behind you, standing on top of the wooden staircase up to Reagan's hut, you see Deacon just kind of like looking. Not at you. He's just kind of seems to be kind of scanning the camp, and then his eyes turn to the hill and the mountains beyond, and the caves, and he just nods at you, and he moves towards the healing hut, just a way away from Reagan's office. What are you
I'm
gonna do?
gonna head to my mine and Ludia's bunks and just grab my like. I assume I have like a ready bag for going down into the mines
Yep.
with like my weapons and rope and shit in it.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I will head over there, check for any creepers at the windows.
Um, there's no. You don't see anybody lurking around. You make your way over to the cabin that you and Eludia are in. There's nobody. Again, it's kind of mid morning, mid to late morning, and there are a few stragglers around camp. A few people still kind of working on repairs, but a lot of people, as ordered by Reagan, have begun kind of the usual here and are heading up to the mines, if not already beginning work in them. You make your way over to your bunk inside the cabin, and yeah, you give me a perception check.
You said there were no creepers.
I didn't say anything about creepers.
14.
you look, you find your stuff. You're kind of just looking for your bits and pieces, and as you um as you're kind of looking uh as you're kind of looking through bits and pieces, you you see that all your gear is there, everything is fine, everything's in its place, and when you cut away to Twitter there for a second. When you when you look at it, you start to see that your my screen has gone totally weird. Lost eyelash and subs. Okay. Oh boy, what have I done wrong now? Probably something stupid. Most likely. Okay, close
Where's our
that.
Umbra technical difficulties thing?
This is what happens when Declan has to do the stream, when he doesn't normally do the stream. Um, okay, so if I pop that back there, yeah, I think that's working again. Should be okay. I think that's, yeah, that seems to be okay again. So as I was saying, as you are searching around the cabin for your bits and pieces, you're kind of putting your pack together. Your eye wanders over Eludia's bunk, and
Um, she's just gonna look over her shoulder, like she knows they're gone, but she's still like, "Oh, should I?" And she's gonna just kind of casually walk over,
you
have a nose.
yeah, as you make your way over, you spot that there's a couple of things that kind of catch your eye. The blanket, hers is the heavier one. The pillows, because she took your one.
Mm.
And you can't help but think about what Reagan said. And you start to think about whose idea it was to come here.
Um, she's gonna just pick up the pillow and give it a squeeze, and then she'll just kind of let out a heavy sigh and take it back to her bunk, put it on her bed.
When you do that, what's your motivation? What's the
She's
point
gonna
of it?
see if it's a test to like if Eludia will take it back off her.
You place it back on your side, and you grab your belongings, and you swing your pack over your shoulder. Is there anything else you want to do before you head out? Is there anything?
Um, can I go to? You said Deacon went to the healer's hut.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't read that. Um, can I go see if the kitchen is empty? Get some snacks.
Snacks for the road.
Yeah,
Snacks.
I'm trying to bribe Deacon with snacks. Okay.
He does love snacks. This snack loves the snack. You, yeah, you head into the kitchen, or at least you make your way over to it, and again, you've never really been here, kind of, after breakfast, because you're usually working down the mines. Um, but as you enter into it, yeah, it's very quiet. Uh, you don't hear any kind of sound coming from the kitchen at all. And when you look, when you kind of look around, you see that there's not a lot of there's not a lot happening. You don't even hear any kind of sounds coming from the kitchen.
She's gonna let out a low whistle, like a bird call, just out of like habit to check surroundings. Um, and then slowly make her way to the kitchen. Because it's only a couple of days after we saw those the like not rations, but like the delivery from
Yeah, the supplies from the main camp.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's just gonna see if she can get any more of that tasty jerky.
Okay. You slip into the back of the kitchen, and when you do,
Oh God! Oh God! What do I see?
there's yeah,
Mound of bodies.
there isn't a mound of bodies, but there is um there's the skirt on the floor, and then there's a boot, and you see that the door of the cupboards is open.
Why are they
The
doing it in
storeroom.
the cupboards? Oh, I thought you meant they were like crawling in under her desk.
The
I was like,
storeroom. The storeroom.
okay, okay. So she's gonna be like, oh no, oh. It's like Ralph Wiggum. I saw a baby and it laughed at me. Yeah, she's just gonna be like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. So she's just gonna look around to see if there's anything kind of near her that she could just grab and make a very swift exit.
Give me a perception check.
Oh, I didn't need that visual.
I didn't give you any visual.
Theater of the mind. Theater of the mind.
I just said a skirt and a boot, and apparently tread softly
All
in
of chat.
chat went elsewhere.
It's only a 13.
You don't like you were looking kind of for jerky and stuff like that. There's a small basket with very very crunchy looking bread rolls.
Perfect. I can use them as a weapon.
Okay, you grab you fine. You grab day old bread rolls and you stuff them into your knapsack. You can add one ration to your inventory as you so wish. You don't hear any sounds coming from the cupboard storeroom. If that makes you feel any better.
Ew, that's kind of boring. Jokes. Okay, yeah, no, she's gonna just be like, oh God, and then head out to see where Deacon is.
You head back out of the canteen, and it's still late morning, early afternoon, and the sky overhead is very bright. And despite that, it's still very cold, and you can kind of catch it kind of at the edge of your nose and the tips of your fingers, and there's that kind of raw cold pain that you can get, and you can kind of feel it pinching at your cheeks. You see Deacon, and he kind of gives you a salute as he heads back into Reagan's office. And he gestures for you to follow.
How far away is the healer's hut?
It's right next door to...
She's gonna... No, I don't know. Yeah, no, they'll come find her. She's just gonna head into Reagan's.
There's also the matter of, the contaminated victims in the healer hut.
Yes, yeah. No touchy.
You're heading to Reagan's office again? You make your way back over, and Deacon is standing there with the door open, and again, you can still see kind of beads of water. He's wet again. He's obviously scrubbed himself down after going back into the healer hut, and that smell of smoke is even stronger. Like it's fresh, it's heavy, it's kind of intoxicating. And that might be why he's standing next to the door or the window the entire time. But he opens the door for you and he kind of holds it as you kind of duck in under. And Reagan is now kind of set in a chair. And on the table in front of her, she's cleared a bit of space. And there's a leather box on it, with a little buckle strapped. Six, I take it you've got everything that you need.
She just pats her pack and says, "Yep."
Excellent. I was. I must apologize. Six. I.
We're a bitch.
For lack of a better word, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't believe I came across the way I intended to. I truly, I truly mean disrespect or ill will.
I don't get why you would want to help me, especially if your parents are friends with Ludia's parents. Like, what gain could you possibly get from helping me?
Cards on the table.
She gestures to the table.
Two things. The first is you are strong. You are quick. More importantly, Six, you are fucking clever.
She grins.
And I need someone like you on my side.
And the second?
I am the second child born in the Moret family. So when I tell you I know what it's like to grow up in somebody else's shadow, to be the afterthought, to only ever know second place, despite being better. You can believe me.
Can I do an insight check?
Yep.
Ooh, that's not great. These dice hate me today. 7.
Okay, well, she got a 22.
Oh,
Um,
I'm changing dice.
she's not lying.
But.
No,
No buts.
there's no but.
What's the best part? Okay, so what? You want me to be another one of your aides?
No, I think you're a little too individual.
What does that mean? I thought we weren't mincing words.
Deacon here is a little bit more complacent, a little bit more subversive.
Did you take his wings?
Oh, no. He did that to himself.
And her eyes just like flash. And she looks at him.
And he's looking down.
Well, this might be a little bit more interesting than I thought it would.
I won't be here for long. 6.
Bigger aspirations?
Much. And if my research is correct, and it's always correct, what I'm looking for is very close. You and Deacon need only fetch it.
She just stares at her for a little bit longer than is polite.
She's making eye contact with you the entire time.
I still haven't decided if I can trust you. But since the others seem to have left me on my own, and I get bored very, very easily.
On that, actually, Deacon felt that going down into the chokehold, just the two of you, might not be enough. I attempted to assuage his fears, but he's quite a sensitive soul.
Is he afraid of me?
Oh no, 6. He's afraid of disappointing me.
Really?
Something funny?
How the hell did you get that to be your lapdog?
He's not my lapdog.
Your age, then.
Because he trusts me with his life.
You haven't given me any reason to do that yet.
I attempted to contact Grace, Sueris, and Eludia, your kin. I asked Eludia to return. She said no.
I don't believe you.
Take my hand.
She reaches out for it.
It's always a little jarring at first.
Just show me.
The second you touch her hand, images flash in the front of your mind, and you see Eludia crouched down behind a rock. And then you see from Eludia's perspective, and there's an owlbear and it's attacking Grace, and there's blood everywhere. And you can hear Reagan speaking. She's ordering them to return, that she has another assignment. And you can just hear Eludia laughing and giggling. And she tells Reagan that she's having too much fun and to send you a boring job for a boring girl.
She's gonna snap her hand away from Reagan. We'll be fine on our own.
I don't expect you to throw away what you have with her, 6.
I didn't say I was going to throw away anything.
you need to consider how long are you willing to be second place? Her family didn't want you. Your family don't want you. She uses you. Deacon gets up and starts to unbuckle the box. And he's kind of rifling through a few bits and pieces. And you see that he's taken out two kind of two bundles of like leather that have straps on them. Um, and he takes one and he holds it up and he puts it to his face and he kind of buckles it behind his head. And you see that his nose, his mouth, are completely covered by this dark brown leather mask. And at the end of it, there's a pouch and there's a strong smell coming from it. It smells like earth and smoke and a faint aroma, flower like, but you can't ascertain what. It's kind of a floral scent kind of coming from it. He gestures the other to you.
She's gonna walk over to him and snap it out of his hand, and then look at it, and then turn around and point at Reagan and say, "I'm not second, and I never will be." And then she storms out.
She doesn't say anything. Deacon, you hear kind of a dragging from inside, and a moment or two later the door closes, and Deacon has that leather box over his shoulder, and he just points up at the hill and starts to walk.
She's gonna just put the mask on. I assume it's not a complicated mechanism.
No, it's just again, it's a belt at the back that you strap on. It's an uncomfortable fit, like it's very tight. You can actually feel it kind of pressing down on your nose and cheeks and stuff like that as you kind of pull the strap tighter. When you take your first breath, give me a wisdom saving throw.
Wow. My dice hate me today. Fucking 8.
With the mask on, and as you take a deep breath inwards, your head spins a little. And you kind of catch yourself, like it's just a little bit, it's like a rush. It's that when you accidentally spray a little too much air freshener at first around you, and it's like, oh, it's overwhelming, the initial breath. And as you kind of go to steady yourself, you feel Deacon's hand on your shoulder, and he gives it kind of a squeeze, and he's kind of pushing you up the hill towards the caverns and the mines that have been dug. As you find yourself climbing the hill, your head spinning, you hear the laughter of children.
Would I know what's in the mask? Like, would I be able to identify the smells?
You can give me a nature check.
I think I'm good at that. Come on, dice. Wow. I don't know why I bother.
How well did you do this time?
I got a 5.
All you're getting, it's impossible to distinguish the scents at this stage. Like before you had it on and you could smell it a little bit, you got that kind of earth and smoke and a little floral. Now it's all just one, and your head is rushing. It's hard to get focused on anything, and your vision is kind of going blurry. And like I said, you hear laughter, and out of the corner of your eye, just running past, you see Eludia, a tangle of hair caught in the wind. And then a moment or two later, you see yourself, Six, and you're running, and you're chasing her. And you find yourself standing at the edge of the woods on the Cinderella estate. And as you reach the forest line, Eludia keeps running. And you see in the distance the lights of a very large house and the manicured gardens. And you call out Eludia's name. And you can just hear her laughing.
Um, she's gonna like scramble with the buckle of the mask and pull it off, and then shout up to Deacon and be like, "Hey, what the fuck are you trying to do to me with this shit?"
You go to start messing with the strap. You go to start unbuckling it, and immediately you just feel two large hands grab your shoulders and shake you. Leave it on. What are you doing? And you literally, he's now shaking you. Six, breathe.
What?
Just breathe.
Breathe in more of this
Take
hallucinogen?
take a breath. I'm Look at me. And he kind of comes into vision, but there's like four of them, and it's hard to distinguish.
She's
Look
like shaking her
here.
head.
Just look here. And you kind of come to your senses as you take a breath in. You're in the mines. You're deep within the chokehold. You've no idea how you got here.
What the hell is going on?
Nothing.
Did she
You
ask you to bring me down here to kill me?
did who ask me to kill Reagan? You're asking
Yes,
me, did Reagan
Reagan.
Moret hire me to kill you in a mine?
What else are we doing down here? I'm fucking seeing shit. I don't know how I got here.
The mask contains a very potent concoction. It's to help diminish the spores. You shouldn't have any sort of adverse reaction to that.
Well, I did. How long have we been down here?
We've been walking for almost an hour.
Are you fucking kidding me? The last thing I remember, we were at the bottom of the hill, and now you're telling me we've been in here for an hour?
I assumed you were quiet because you were pondering what Reagan said. I didn't wish to add to that noise in your head.
This is bullshit. Look, just let's just get on with it. I'm fine now, apparently. So if I go quiet again, you'll know that something's wrong.
Do you want to sit?
No, I'm fine.
We've In the quiet, we've actually made quite a bit of progress. We have time. I would actually rather if you just took a seat and got used to what you were breathing in.
Look, if you want to have a break, we can have a break, but I don't need it.
Then, for my sake, Six, would you afford a old man 5 minutes?
And she just smirks a little and says, "Sure, no problem."
You find yourself just the mine that you're in, the chokehold. Digging here stopped several days ago, if not more than almost a fortnight. There was quite a nest of the purple fungi found, and there were also the rumors, but you're not really sure what came first. And the rumors had been around for a time that there was something else in the cave, that there was something moving, something watching the miners and the guards from. Some even said beyond the walls. The people said that the walls themselves had eyes. Eludia loved it. She used to tell everybody at every first chance in the canteen around the campfire, even to you in the bunk as you were trying to sleep. And as you sit here now with Deacon, you don't feel anything watching you. He's not looking at you, he's not staring at you. He's set himself against a flat rock and he's kind of scooped down low and his eyes are shut. And you can just hear the whistling of wind through the shaft. And beneath you somewhere, you can hear water running fast. But it's sort of rumbling up through the rock.
I didn't know there was a river down here.
Reagan had mentioned that the chokehold sits over a river. We've yet to strike at it. And he puts his hand on the rock. I do believe it's a long way down.
She's just gonna get up from her seat and start kind of poking around the little place that they are, looking for like any sort of cool things like fungi or bits.
Give me an investigation check. Well, I turn on the light.
Okay. We're not doing too bad. 15. Nothing. There's nothing.
There's nothing. There's nothing here. No, you kind of scan the passageway that you're in. There's a kind of a half moldy ration that you kind of pick up first. You're like, it's soft. You're like, what? No, it's not. It's just a moldy ration. And there's a couple of bites taken out of it. And you just throw it away. It was slippery and slimy in your hand.
Delicious.
You find a couple of kind of like shiny looking rocks, like ore, not just stone, but like small enough that you could put in your pocket, and maybe sell or flog or keep, maybe add it to a collection. You start to kind of go a little bit further down the passageway. At the very end, just as it kind of goes around the corner, there's a very, very faint glow of purple light.
She's gonna look back at Deacon. What's he doing?
He's sat there reading a small little book, like a little notebook.
Yeah, she's just gonna shrug and wander down towards the light.
Are you going stealthily, or are you are you just walking?
No, she's not stealthily, but she's not like traipsing.
Kicking every rock on the way down.
Nah.
You move down the mine shaft a little bit more, and as you turn the corner, as you kind of approach the corner rather, that purple light begins to diminish. And as you come round it, it is all but gone. But you saw a faint glimmer of it hanging from the ceiling about 10 foot in front of you and about 4 foot in the air. And you can see that there's a cluster
Is it
of mushrooms.
the stuff that we're looking for?
None of them look purple.
Would she recognize it? Does she recognize it as anything she would have worked with previously?
Give me a nature check.
Do I want to touch the shiny mushrooms? Yes. 18.
You kind of approach a little bit cautiously, and you remember then that you haven't encountered them in the sense of fighting them, or been blasted by one or anything like that, but you do remember that one of the first times you and Eludia encountered them down in the mines, they tried to blend in with other mushrooms.
Sneaky.
But
love it.
The one thing you know to look for is the mushroom cap itself. It closes like a flower. It has the strands of it close up like a flower petal, and it tries to make like a mushroom horn, but there are seams, and you can see our purple fungi hanging from the ceiling.
She's gonna take one of her little jars from her bag, and with her dagger just...
Okay. Give me an attack roll.
Oh no. Nine.
It hits.
Okay. I
Damage.
was like, what kind of fucking mushroom is this? Just
Ironhide.
Oh no. Sorry. Spear is 1d6. That is a 6. Oh wait. Yeah, no, just a 6.
You reach out to just like kind of get in under the mushroom itself, to just kind of wedge it and scrape it off the ceiling. As you do, you see several strands just sort of slowly wither out of it and kind of worm free from the head of the mushroom, and they touch the spear, and as you jab at it, they go completely taut and they wrap around it, and the purple fungus lights up and the head opens, and you can just see like a puff of spores, and immediately several of these longer feelers just shoot out like wires and slap and stick along the edges of the spear. 3 of them reach out to touch your hand that holds the weapon. And that's a nat 20 on the first one. It's a 16 on the second one. And a 17 on the third one. So take 8 plus... Oh, sorry, that's a d10 I'm rolling. Whoops. Oh, it's still an 8.
Roll them all again. Roll them all again.
So 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 5 is 21.
You can stop
1.
now. No, you can stop.
You're down?
No, I have 2 left.
Okay. These feelers just literally creep and spindle out of it, and they stick to you, and where they touch, the skin rots as you are lashed with necrotic damage.
Oh, wait. Can I use Halo of Spores as a reaction?
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. Will that do anything? Because no, it's only on a creature. So maybe not. I think that's a you ruling.
This is a plant.
So no.
Don't think
No,
so.
I cannot. Okay. So I have two.
Okay. Yeah, it lashes out at you, and you immediately, yeah, your hand is burning where it's stuck, and as you go to pull away, those feelers are almost elastic. They come to a point where they stretch. They're not letting go, and you see several more of it are spiraling out and growing forward towards you and the spear.
She's gonna yell for Deacon.
You just hear what, and as much as they're as quick as he says that, he comes running. Um, he sees you in the shape that you're in, sees the spore, and immediately holds his hand up, and you see fire just catching at the edges of his fingers, and right from his hand, a blast of fire just erupts. Um, and please, for the love of God, hit. He does with a 23.
Nice.
And that is okay. Okay. The mushroom erupts in flame, and you see dozens of these feelers now just spring out of it and twist and recoil. Some burn and fall off, and there's a disgusting smell. Uh, it smells like someone has taken rotting flesh and set it on fire. Uh, and it's filling the cave. It's your action, Six. It's still alive.
Um, she is going to cast. I don't know if necromancy would work on it, so maybe not. What else? Ooh, yeah, she's gonna do no. See, all of my spells just make me get in the way. Fuck, fuck's sake. Um. Oh, you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna take Glad's um cleaver and just fuck it at it.
Okay.
So what is that? Oh, I don't get it. Plus on it. I got that one.
Okie dokie.
Oh Lord.
You take the cleaver and you chuck it straight at the purple mushroom, and where it where you hit, it actually hits the ceiling, um, and you hear kind of a crack, and then the blade falls to the ground in front of you, and well, not in front of you, like about 15 feet in front of you, um, and your weapon is gone, your turn is gone, its turn, and it is going to. Oh, okay, it can make 3 attacks this turn.
Of course it can.
11 to hit.
That does not.
Okay, and the other 2 are going to go for Deacon, and that is a 10, and that is a 4. So neither of those hit this turn round. As you, as you throw the cleaver at it, and miss, you see that several of these spindling cords shoot from it. Some aflame, some melting, some lash out, and as they do, the one that kind of slips straight towards you just bursts, it explodes, and there's wet gunk everywhere, and some of it kind of splatters on the mask. And again, it's that rotten smell that sort of catches in your nose.
Ooh.
The other two that reach out for Deacon, he literally just he takes a side step as they just dart straight at him, and as they do, you see that he draws that a blade from behind his shoulders. He swipes, and on a 17 he hits. Uh, he cleaves the feelers straight off of the mushroom. Um, there is a and the shroom sort of shrivels and collapses with a sickening splat on the ground.
That was gross.
What were you doing?
I was bored.
So you wandered off alone in the mines.
I mean, I was literally 10 seconds away from you.
You are literally, and he looks at your hand, and that rot has now travelled up to your elbow.
Sexy, very sexy.
Your hand.
What about it?
I don't think we can save it.
That's fine.
He reaches out and he just touches the side of your face. Two things. His skin, colder than anything you ever felt before. Recover 11 healing.
Thanks.
The pain in your arm kind of numbs. We're going to need to get that looked at. I don't have the tools.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
What are you
I'm
talking
good.
about?
Don't worry about it. I can grow a new one. It's fine. Don't worry.
What do you mean?
She didn't share with you? I thought she was your trusted, or you were her trusted aide.
What are you talking about, Six?
We can talk about it some other time. We need to go find whatever.
But your arm, we should leave and come back.
No, it's fine.
This, and he points at the fungal goop on the cave floor, won't work now. It's too damaged. We need to press on.
Okay. Sorry about the mess.
You're lucky this is not exactly what Reagan is looking for. Her sample is perhaps Six. I should take the lead.
Okay.
He kind of steps in front of you, and as he moves around you, the bubbling, boiling gloop, you see several bubbles of it actually lift up and sort of sway at him and then fall over and collapse. And then there's just a charred, burnt gloop on the floor of the cave. And as you move by it, it doesn't seem to react.
Okay. When I'm just looking, can I like ready an action for what I assume will be the next encounter that we like come into with these spores?
You're banking on there being more combat.
Yeah,
I can't go. Yeah, there's gonna be more combat. But you want to be a bit more cautious, a bit more defensive as you move through. So,
Yeah, she's just kind of looking out for more of those like tentacle
okay,
things.
you're going to keep an eye out for that. I would say weapons are still kind of drawn, maybe, as you do. He continues on, and there's maybe about kind of 4 or 5 feet between the two of you, and the passageway here starts to get smaller. Like it begins to get narrower, and the chokehold got its name because of that. Because the tunnels here are a lot smaller, are a lot more compact, a lot more narrow, and you feel as if the walls are kind of pressing in around you, Six. And you can see Deacon is now kind of half squatting as he kind of maneuvers through it, and you can hear occasionally the iron of his sword just scraping against the stone. And once or twice, he actually has to turn sideways to move through just the gap that's been carved into the rock face. All the while, the water beneath you, it sort of curves and meanders. It bends. Some parts of it are louder where you might be directly over. Other parts of it feel it. It feels like it's in another place entirely. It feels like it's on the other side of the mountains. It's a faint echo of itself. And as you follow, echoing around you again, you hear a laugh.
Like a familiar laugh.
It's Eludia.
So, you know how you said that the stuff in this mask wasn't a hallucinogen?
What are you talking about, Six?
Hi, Eludia.
Now, we have a job.
Okay.
Do you remember that pub owner that wouldn't let us stay?
Yeah.
Well, I slit his throat last night.
Rude. Why didn't you wait for me?
He slighted me. Six, not you.
But I was there too.
Yeah, but you're used to it.
I guess.
So, I'm going to need you to handle the body.
You just left him there?
Oh, no, 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 no. I dragged him outside, but then he got a bit heavy.
Okay. So where'd you leave him?
Outside the back of the tavern.
Eludia, anyone could find him there.
Oh, when I left, there was dogs just kind of chewing on him, and I thought that maybe they would have their fill, but oh, Six, it was just very heavy, and I was very tired, and you weren't there to help me.
Well, that's what you get for going without me. Come on, show me where it was.
But I'm tired, Six, and this is really something that you're good at.
Fine.
Okay. So I'm just gonna lie down.
Mm-hmm.
And if you take care of the body, okay?
Then what?
Then we won't get in trouble.
Okay.
And Six,
Yeah,
when you're out, will you just bring me home something to drink?
sure. No problem, Eludia.
And something to eat.
Okay.
And read.
Mm-hmm. You got it.
And none of that cheap stuff. You know, it just doesn't agree with my stomach. I'm sensitive. I'm not like you. I can't eat any old trash.
Okay,
Okay,
no problem.
great. Thanks.
See you later.
You find yourself standing in the tavern, and there's you see the tavern owner standing there, and he sees you
Alive?
walk in. Yeah, and Eludia is standing next to you. I've told you once, I've told you twice. We don't have any rooms. You can try you can try the Blackwater Tavern. It's literally half a mile down the road. We're full up. I don't think you understand who I am. So, I'd like your finest room. Um, Six, you're okay to sleep.
In the
She'll
chair?
sleep. She'll
Yeah,
sleep.
no problem.
No, I want my own room.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Six, you know I don't share.
Yeah.
You haven't got like a stable or
I,
storehouse?
I could sleep in the corner over there.
Yeah, she can. She just throw herself anywhere. She's like an old hat. Look, it's not a matter of either of you, and no, you can't sleep on the tavern floor. We just simply don't have enough rooms. So if the two of you, again, please try the Blackwater Tavern. Tell them old Alec sent you. They might give you a good rate. If you're stuck for coin. Please don't assume that either of us. I have money.
We're not poor.
I'm talking Six. I can pay for my own room, and Six can go to the Blackwater.
Yeah.
Enough, ladies. Please, I have other customers. What were you doing, Six?
Huh?
What were you doing?
When?
There, just now. He thinks I'm poor.
I
Like it's
know,
not,
he's stupid.
like it's not bad enough that I have to be here in this space, in this dirty place. From now on, wait outside
Okay.
and go find out if there's rooms in the Blackwater. I'll talk to the landlord.
Okay.
There's a huge rumbling sound. Six, all around you. And Deacon, you see him he's grabbed your shoulders again and he's just shaking you. Six, are you okay? You're.
Man, this stuff is really strong.
There's nothing in it. Six, did you hear that?
The
Have there
rumbling?
have there been cave-ins before? It didn't sound like it came from behind us.
Um, Not that I remember. Does she remember? I don't know.
No, the chokehold got abandoned because of the fungi and
Yeah.
the rumors, but no.
No, I don't think so.
Stay perfectly still.
Okay.
You have a chance to kind of look around where you were, and up until that moment, up until you kind of lost focus of where you were and Ludia was there, and the pub owner, and the body, and the memory. You'd been squeezing through these tiny passageways. Now you find yourself in a large cavern. And Deacon has like gripped you by the shoulders and is looking you dead in the eye. And he slowly turns over his shoulder as you see the entire room light up purple.
Wow.
Roll for initiative.
Um.
Okay.
Oh God. 9.
Okay, that's still better than. Oh, okay. Um, Deacon is on 12. 6 is on 9. And the shrooms are on 8. Okay. We're looking, and Deacon is making direct eye contact with you. Keep out of reach for the smaller things. You need to buy a time. You need to buy a couple of minutes. What we're looking for is in here. 6. And you can see him
Oh,
smiling.
tell me what it is.
And he turns to kind of let you see. And as it comes into the picture, as it comes into your view, you just hear Deacon as he smiles. Reagan's going to be so happy. We found it. And dragging itself up, you. At first, it looks as if the walls of the cave are kind of falling in on itself. But what's actually happening is this thing is ripping like vines down off the walls. These shrooms cling to it. It's a Molder Titan. It's what Reagan's been searching for. We don't kill it.
I mean, I can't make any promises.
And as he
Look
says
at that
it,
thing.
the top half of it, this mass of mushroom spores, just oozing this thick, translucent liquid, like a sweat all over its body. The top half of it rips open, and you see these spore-like tentacles just whipping all around. And where it pulls straight open, there are rows and rows of teeth that all move independently. And it lets out a roaring shriek that reverberates all the way through the cavern up towards you. And it rushes. And immediately, Deacon holds his hand aloft. And you see light just emanate from it. And they burst into several fractals that whip around the room, illuminating the space up as he casts Magic Missile.
Oh my God.
Gotta make some damage rolls. Okay, 4, 7, 7. Oh, 10. 4 shards of light just whip around the room and then strike at the Titan's form. And when it does, you see that it kind of whips back and it kind of recoils and twists, and several of the strands, these longer membranes, just rip from the roof and are torn open, and gunk just sprays out of it. And it continues its move towards the two of you. 6, it's your action. He just shouts at you, "Don't burn it."
Okay. So in that case,
Fire.
I'm going to use symbiotic entity. So I I think it means I cash in a wild shape action
Hmm.
to gain 8 temp HP.
Okay.
Because I am squishy. And then I don't think that. So I it means I do I have double damage for Halo of Spores
Okay.
and deal 1d6 additional necrotic damage when I hit with a melee weapon, which would be my spear. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
And that
So
was your
yeah, I think
bonus
that
action, was it?
no, I think that's my action. I think
Okay.
it's an
And any
action.
bonus action?
And no, not this
Okay.
time.
Um. Oh, hey, Penny Dragon Games. Thanks for dropping in. We are in the middle of a cave in a two-player game.
I'm
Uh,
gonna die.
yeah. Someone is fighting a Molder Titan. And we're about to take its first attack. So, uh,
Go.
as it as it lunges forward, at the both of you, you see that two of the larger and the membranes are this sort of rotting grey and twisted lumps of purple, kind of like pockets of blistered and liquid, rip from the roof and just lunge forward. One swipes at you, Eludia. The other swipes at Deacon. Um, does a 13 hit?
Yes.
Okay. Take. Okay, take. Oh, sorry. Why did I go? Oh. Uh, oh, actually, I did roll the wrong dice again. I keep doing that.
Rude.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, that's actually worse for me than it was for you.
Excellent.
Um,
Great.
so
Loves
take
it.
3 bludgeoning damage. Sorry, slashing damage and 2 poison damage. Um, and nat 20s, Deacon. Uh,
Don't you
sending
leave me in here on my own. I
uh
will kill you again.
the one that strikes at you, it glances off of you, Six, and it kind of, you lose your balance, but just before you fall over, you kind of half catch yourself. Deacon, however, is struck immediately, like it literally, he doesn't see it coming. He's almost blindsided, um, and it catches him straight into the chest and slams him against the rock, and you hear a crack as blood sprays from his mouth. He crashes to the floor, kind of wheezing, uh, looks at you, and he's smiling. Like his face is completely and totally lit up. Um, and he holds a hand aloft again, and again you see fractals of energy kind of forming and twisting around his hand, and this time 3 darts shoot from it. 7 and okay, for 11 damage. These blades of light just whip around the room and pierce the Titan straight into the back. Um, and you see it actually twist up in pain. And as it does, again, this sort of translucent liquid just spurts from the wounds on its back where it's struck with magic missile. Deacon looks at you. I'm fine. Just focus on bringing this thing down. We don't burn it. Just bring it down. And he kind of half stands up onto his feet and takes a step around the cavern, circling it a little bit. Your action, Six.
You're even sicker than fucking Ludi is. Oh, okay, fine. No fire. Don't kill it. What the fuck can I do? She's going to. How far away is he from me?
The Molder Titan.
No, Deacon.
Deacon. He's about 10 feet.
Okay, so could I move around him and cast Tasha's Caustic Brew?
So you don't want to cast it into him. Yeah, I get you. You don't want to spray it at him. You don't want him to be
Yeah,
in
I
the
want it to be like around him,
Okay. Yeah.
like a curveball.
Okay. Yeah, you. Yeah. Is that a save for me or an attack for you?
Yeah, it's a dex save, I believe, of 12.
Okay. And I don't believe.
Oh, he's so dexterous, huh? But a
No,
good.
he's not because he only gets a +1, and I rolled a 2, so that's a 3.
Amazing.
Roll for damage.
Okay, okay. 2d4.
What damage type is it?
Acid.
Damn it!
Yes, acid.
I was hoping. I was like, is it? I was like, caustic. Is it either poison, necrotic, or acidic? And I couldn't remember.
Yeah, acid 2d4. So, whoa, that's cocked. 6.
Oh.
On brand. Very on brand.
Is there ramifications to this as well? Oh, it has to.
Stream of acid emanates from you in a line of 30 feet and 5 feet wide. Each creature in the line must succeed on a dex throw or be covered in acid, or until it uses an action to scrape it off,
Yeah.
or take another 2d4 of damage at the start of every turn.
Okay. It. God damn it.
I
God.
did something good for once.
Yeah. Well, you step around Deacon and just opening your hands up and around. You just kind of place one under his left arm, the other over his right shoulder, and from between your hands, a cloud begins to form and bubble, and clots of this gloop just drop to the floor, and Deacon, you can hear kind of Deacon coughing, and he's pressing into you, and you can smell the smoke. You can smell the sweat off of him, and you can hear his heart pounding in his chest.
Sexy.
And at that moment, a blast of this caustic liquid just explodes from the cloud in front of you, coating the Molder Titan. And you see that lumps of it are now kind of burning and melting rather than burning, melting away as the acid just eats into its fungal flesh. Huge chunks of it just fall and plot onto the ground, and it rides and wriggles around as if it was still alive. And you can hear Deacon give kind of a laugh, like a low kind of chuckle to himself. Excellent work, Six. Bring it down. And as he says this, the creature. Sorry, you can roll the 2d4 if you want.
Yes. Wow. 3.
Okay. No, it's still another 3 damage. The Molder Titan literally sort of folds forward on itself, and you see several of these feelers just erupt out of it. And one just shoots straight, and as it does, it actually splits open, and you see dozens of these teeth again, all wriggling, all twisting and closing and biting, um, as it goes to latch onto Deacon.
Can I?
Yeah, can you what?
I was gonna say, can I move him since my arms are around him? But
No.
yeah.
It's not a reaction, I'm afraid. It's a little. Yeah. As it. Oh, sorry, I have to make a strength saving throw. Okay, good for Deacon. He. This tendril that whips out and snags onto his arm, you see that the teeth actually bury themselves into the flesh and they rend the skin from the bone. Deacon lets out a scream that bubbles up into a laugh of exhilaration. Oh this is what it feels like to be alive. And you see just his arm is just dripping blood. There's a chunk of skin hanging off from it, and Six, you can even see what you think looks to be bone. For anyone that just joined us in the raid, very sorry. This sorry, should have prefaced that with
throwing me in the
we throw a little bit of gore into this one, so sorry about it. Sorry, genuinely.
You're not.
If
No,
this
you're
isn't
not.
your no, I genuinely am. If this is not your thing, if you gore and blood and guts is not your thing, I would go. If I were you. And with that, Deacon he takes a look back over you, holds his hand, and just casts Cure Wounds on himself. And you see the wound begin to heal, the skin begin to knit itself back together. But there, where it was torn from his hand, and it looks as if he's torn his hand almost clean off.
Lovely.
You you see it's all kind of stitched back up, but there's scarring and there's bruising, and he just, with the hand that was attacked, reaches down along his right leg, and from his side, from a strap, he pulls a dagger and flings it straight at the creature. Oh, and he misses
Dang it.
on. Yeah. He misses on an 11. It is your action 6. You just hear, again, you hear the whip as the blade flies free from Deacon's hand, but then you hear it clash and the ringing of steel against stone. Your turn.
Seeing how proud he was of me, I'm going to cast Tasha's Caustic Brew again, but this time at second level.
Okay.
It's
Does this stack? Am I just getting more melted?
I don't know. How does that work?
I'm already
Is that
covered.
something I can do? Like I just like double down on my acid streams or what?
Well, I make a, was it a DC 12?
Yeah.
Roll the goddamn damage. I rolled an 8.
Yay! Oh God. Ooh. Okay.
I say it
Okay.
stacks. Quiet, you tread softly.
3, 6, 9, 11. I don't want to kill it.
You, again, the bubble sort of erupts in front of you again, and just rolling your hand over the top of it, you feel the heat emanating from the magic and the stinging of the acid that is broiling inside of it. And as you cast your hand out, a jettison of this noxious liquid just spews straight out. Uh, Deacon watches as it strikes the Titan, again catching it straight into that its open maw with all those teeth, and you see parts of it begin to kind of tear open and kind of fall away as if it's been kind of split in two from the acid. And as it lumbers forward, it pulls another membrane down from the ceiling, and you just see this cloister of these violet fungi light up and then blink out as its hand comes forward down on top of the two of you, and it takes 2d4 of damage.
Oh,
Three.
another
We'll
two?
say 3d4.
Okay.
Not that you bloody need it, but
No, if it's just for like the acid at the
it
start of
doesn't
its
make a
action,
difference.
then
It literally doesn't. You could
okay.
you
Just
could
put your medical
you could
5.
roll a one-sided die here and still defeat this thing. It has a 1 HP.
Yes.
Um,
Would you like me to cast Spare the Dying on it?
it the yeah, that chunk of it that it pulls from the ceiling comes straight down, and just a foot from you and Deacon it falls, and you see that all the purple shrooms on it, the violet spores and fungi, blink and then go dark. And Deacon looks at you, kind of holding his hand, and he takes your face into both his hands. You are spectacular.
She starts like jumping up and down and clapping gleefully. That was so fun. I've never done it on my own before.
We have it. We have it.
Yeah.
We have what she needs.
What are we
and
gonna do with it?
we have to bring it back to Reagan
That thing is massive.
in pieces.
Oh, okay, fun.
And he swings the leather box that he'd carried with him, the container, over his shoulders. He crouches down next to the chunk that fell from the ceiling, um, and holds a hand out to you. The lady gets the first cut.
She's gonna take. Oh, I broke my cleaver. God damn it! What else can I chop it up with?
Your
Oh,
teeth.
dramatic effect. I'm gonna do primal savagery and just with my with my talons.
Okay. Uh, the the tips of your fingers go sharp as the nails extend and curve, um, and you rend just chunks, and the flesh of this thing, it feels like human flesh. Like it's that same feeling beneath your fingers as you just tear pieces of it away. Um, and Deacon just looks at you. We could go further.
What do you mean?
Reagan's research mentions three types. Could you imagine how pleased she would be if we brought back two others?
Are you gonna be able to handle two more? I mean, I did most of the work on this one myself.
I am happy to supervise.
Well, then, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
And he looks at you. Reagan was right. She's always right.
You got a thing for her, huh? I mean, she's pretty hot, but like, a bit of a bitch.
It's a little more than that. You should trust her, Six.
Hmm.
These. And he gestures at his back and the cloak that cover the wings torn from him. She saved my life.
You gonna tell me what happened there?
You gonna tell me what Reagan said to you?
I mean, you were there. You telling me you went temporarily deaf?
The two of you talked in circles. I've an inkling as to what she was referring to. I didn't. It's your story, Six. Or it should be. I don't know Eludia.
Some might say that's for the best.
I gather. I just think it's not for me to say. You can. And he finishes gathering the rest of the sample and he bundles it into a glass jar.
Um, just gonna watch him for a few minutes, not in a pervy way.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, maybe in a little pervy way.
That's okay.
But then she's just gonna like take stock of his scars and stuff, and then kind of um walk over to him and say and help with the collection and say, "You tell me what happened there while we take down these other two, and I'll tell you mine."
I tell you what, I'll make you a different offer. You leave when Reagan and I leave. And I'll tell you everything you want to know. You can do so much better, Six. I've seen it. I mean, I doubted Reagan when she picked you for this job. I won't lie to you.
I should be offended, but I'm not. I'm used to people underestimating me.
Well, there's one less person in the world who'll do that from today, Six.
And maybe you'll have one more person on your journey out of here.
He picks himself up, straps the bag over his shoulders. I hope so. And there's a huge crashing sound.
Ruining my moment.
Somewhere in the distance, you just hear rocks falling. Screams echo and blast through the tunnel. And amidst that choir of panic, you recognize Eludia's shriek. And we'll leave it there.
Oh my god! You asshole! How exciting!
Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm Declan. I've been your dungeon master. I was joined this evening by the phenomenal Eilish as Six. We are D8 Dungeon. We're a group of Irish tabletop role-playing game enthusiasts who just love telling stories, sharing them with the world, and having fun while we do it. You can check us out here on Twitch lots of times now. We've lots of different things coming up on Saturday, for example. James is going making maps. We don't know if it's maps for Saving Grace. We don't know if it's maps for Rise of the Forsaken or if it's maps for Romancing the Dungeon. I haven't figured it out. That's up to James. He'll figure all that out. That's his job. If you'd like to know a little bit more about who we are and what we do check us out at D8 Dungeon on all social media channels. You can come over and join our Discord. We stream on Twitch a couple of times a week now, alternating weeks with different shows. And Saving Grace is back again next Thursday, but then goes back to its fortnightly schedule. This was a special episode, just fill in the blanks between what was happening between one group that split from the camp and the other. You can take a look, and if you're looking to grab a few accessories, you're looking to spruce up your tabletop role-playing game, check out The Rook and the Raven. Pick up a wonderful campaign journal. I wonder who stripped your mod powers. Whether you're a DM planning your next campaign or a player looking to keep track of your player character as they develop over the course of their many adventures, you can check out The Rook and the Raven. And if you use the code D8 Dungeon at the checkout, you get a 15% discount on extremely customizable journals that you can shape and build to your heart's content. Of the 15%, we receive a little bit of the profits, so it helps us by helping you. So that would be great. I mentioned the Twitch, I mentioned the channels, I mentioned the socials. Check. Yeah, I'm doing a little mental check in my head.
Stream.
Yep, I'll get to that in a second. Big shout out to chat for keeping us company, and a huge thanks to Penny Dragon Games for the raid there towards the end. That was really, really nice. If you're not following Penny Dragon Games, do check them out. They're a wonderful group of folks who stream a hell of a lot more than we do, with loads of different D&D content, and way more than that I'm not doing justice. So do have a look at Penny Dragon Games when you get a chance, if you get a chance. We have a charity stream coming up And if you'd like to be involved in that, we're organizing a charity stream called Clash of the Streams. We're looking for DMs for some one shots. We're looking for streams and podcasts to enter into our tournament in a knockout round to crown a champion of the Clash this year. So if you think you'd like to enter your crew into that, we're looking for PCs and DMs from different streams and podcasts from all over the world. It's open to everybody. It's all to raise funds for charity, so it's good karma at the back of it all. Brand new episode of Romancing the Dungeon out tomorrow, episode 19. Panic at the Castle. Yeah, I'm editing the other episodes. Yeah, so it is episode 19. Episode 19, Panic at the Castle. So if you're following along, or if you haven't checked it out before, do check out Romancing the Dungeon if you like zany adventures about four heroes looking to find love and discover what that really means. That's it from all of us here at D8 Dungeon. Thank you again for following along and for being part of it. And we will see you. Well, James will see you on Saturday. And
everybody come heckle him in the chat.
Yeah, make sure you heckle James in the chat. Sorry, there's a question there from Zan, but a question about that for the tournament. Is it GMs, DMs, and their players, or is it player characters or GMs? It's DMs and their players. Or GMs, DMs, and their players, Zan. So we're looking for the DM from the show and 2 players from the show to enter into the tournament. The GM obviously will be helping to run some of the scenarios in the tournament. The players will be the combatants, participants, volunteers, helpers, whatever you want to call it. I think that's it. I think we're all good to go. I hope you had a blast this evening, and we will see you next week for Saving Grace verse 6.
With no technical difficulties.
With no technical difficulties, hopefully. Yeah, we're going to manifest it. Take care and good night.